I might not be pronouncing that right.
Really?
Gryffindor.
Welcome back to Twin Terror. I'm David.
No, I'm Gary.
And Gary can't pronounce things right, like Judge
No,
Kaufman.
no. I was taken to task for mispronouncing names, and so
Yeah. Well, there you go.
I'm pretty good, but I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination.
So, what was Joe Biden's vice president's first name? Let's see if you can get that one pronounced correctly, because it seems like a bunch of white males can't get that one pronounced right.
Kamala.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I probably would have pronounced it incorrectly, but she did a nice job of, presenting it. It's comma, like the punctuation law.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
very easy to remember.
Exactly. Once you've got that, it's fine. Anybody who mispronounces it after that is doing it to be a troll, purposely doing it to be a troll.
Yes, or has very bad punctuation.
Yeah. Or is purposely being a troll. Anyways, this judge, what's so special about this judge? Is this the one that lets you off on your parking ticket with just a stern warning?
Yes. So this is a U.S. District Court judge in Seattle.
What are you doing in Seattle?
In Seattle, John Kaufner. I think that's how it's pronounced. But he was appointed by Reagan, and he's been on the bench for over 4 decades. I think in '81, I think he got put on the bench. So
that'd be over 4 decades. That'd be 44 years.
He's in his 80s. I looked at a picture of him. I hate to do this to him because I respect him, but he's kind of got that Rudy Giuliani teeth look going there. If you
okay, gotcha.
Take a picture, it's just like
Yeah.
But okay. He was going back and forth with the Department of Justice attorney that was bringing this case forward, and this was the quote that he gave the Department of Justice attorney. Justice Department attorney.
Should we tell folks what it is that he's ruling on, or you want to save that as the punchline?
Oh, so no, we'll say it as the punchline.
Okay.
So he goes, I've been on the bench for over 4 decades.
Hey, I've been here for 30 years.
He's been on the bench since we were in high school, right? I've been on the bench for over 4 decades. I cannot remember another case where the question presented was as clear as this one is. This is a blatantly unconstitutional order. Full stop. And this is about Trump's executive order banning birthright citizenship.
Yeah, I think I would have added something like, and any Supreme Court justice that thinks differently should resign because they clearly do not understand the Constitution they are sworn to uphold. I would have added that too.
Yeah. So the 14th Amendment guarantees the birthright citizenship. It was passed in 1868. It was designed to, basically the motivation was so that slaves could have citizenship, because they were born in the United States. And it is poked along happily for many years. And, it only became an issue when Trump and MAGA kind of came around. Now, someone was mentioning in the comments that, this amendment's being abused and it should be updated or it should be changed. I don't know if I would go that far. Are there people abusing or playing the loopholes in this? Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, like old white dudes like us going to Southeast Asia, Yeah. But they're probably former soldiers or something like that. But okay,
No, there's been stories. I can't verify the stories or not, but like folks from out of
Dirt poor Guatemalans get on a plane flight while the woman's 9 months pregnant, hangs around, gets a baby, and then flies back to Guatemala with their American citizen son. I'm sure that happens all the time.
These are more Asian countries, but yeah, that's kind of the loophole that they're playing there. And that's part of it. You can close that up without amending the Constitution.
Sure.
There are other ways to address the abuse. But to amend the Constitution literally takes an act of Congress.
It literally does.
Pardon the pun, right? You have to have 2/3. It doesn't even go to the president. You have to have 2/3 of the House and 2/3 of the Senate approve it, and then it's got to be ratified by 3/4 of the states.
Yeah, I thought it was 80%, but yeah, it's some ridiculous number of states.
75%. And so you could, if you have 13 states say nope, then it's not going to amend the Constitution. And right now there are more than 13 blue states that would probably say no.
Yeah, well, good luck getting 2/3 of the House and 2/3 of the Senate too. That's not happening either.
There's a lot of hurdles that you need to overcome.
Yeah,
but I figured, for entertainment purposes only, we might take a look at the energy around this and then see, what it looks like in the future. Because, this is causing a lot of stress. This is one of Trump's big talking points. And
I know everybody's talking about it. Everybody.
Yeah. So
bunch of white people not impacted by that are talking about it.
Indeed. So would you like to start or would you like me to start?
You go ahead, start. This sounds like your baby. I'm just going to provide snide comments the entire time.
Oh, and then someone else mentioned in the comments for me to remind you to make sure your screen is big when you're doing your cards because they're hard to see when we're split screen like that. So,
well, life goes on.
Yeah. So, okay. So for entertainment purposes only, we're going to look at the energy around Judge Koffner. And we're going to see, because right now it's just a temporary 14, I think it's like a temporary ban, right? And will he go ahead and ban it longer? Because this is obviously going to be fought out in the courts for longer. And the temporary ban will expire in 14 days, and it's before the executive order can even take effect. So let's take a look at the energy around it and see, how's the judge thinking about it, and will it, what kind of legs does this thing have? Okay, so right now we're starting with the King of Wands. I'm the judge. I'm in charge. I know what actions need to be taken.
Really?
The cross, the tower. Perfect cross. It's a legal argument that is built on a bad foundation.
You think? House of Cards?
Yeah, this is, and that's certainly what he's pointing out.
Yeah.
To the,
I just don't think this one's got a chance. Dead on arrival.
Just a bit outside. So Brett Shumate or Shumate, depending how you pronounce it, was the DOJ attorney that said, "Oh yeah, that's definitely constitutional, and I'll argue it." I think that was his actual voice too.
Yeah.
Underneath it is the star. The judge is looking out for the Constitution. The Constitution, which is the foundation of this country, and he's going to defend the Constitution. This could be that if you saw the Cash Peters video where the Trump tries to attack the Constitution fights back. This is a case of the Constitution fighting back.
Just to interrupt for a second. Yeah. Just kind of where my head isn't these days. When you're saying the government was going back and forth with the judge, I kept thinking it was the Biden Department of Justice. So it's like, I think they'd be on board with both of it. Just like it would be a typical, the Biden Department just saying, we're arguing against some stupid Trump lawsuit. Can we just dismiss this now? And I keep forgetting that there's some poor slob in the Department of Justice got the short straw and has to try and argue this.
Yeah, exactly. You just kind of feel bad for the guy.
Yeah.
You just got to think his heart really isn't in it. And if his heart really is in it, then you really feel bad for him.
Exactly.
In the past, Queen of Wands, Trump's getting busy, doing all the Trumpy things he said he was going to do. And this was top on the list. Current energy is the Empress. Everything's going great for Trump. He's got everything's coming up roses for him right now. He's got people kissing the ring. The grift is going on wonderfully on all his little side grifts. So this is he's just living it up. This is Trump trying to redefine the prosperity of America. overarching energy is the Three of Cups. The Republicans are all excited about this, but I think basically the judge is like, you know what, guys, you can party on all you want. This is got no basis. And the Three of Cups here could also be the 5 lawsuits from 22 states challenging this. The Democrats, the people that are supporting the Constitution. I shouldn't just say Democrats, because anyone who supports the Constitution should be celebrating what this judge is saying. Lesson to be learned is the Hangman. Now that's an interesting card, because the Hangman is kind of like looking at either throwing someone under the bus or looking at things from a different perspective.
Or delays.
Yeah, certainly Trump's looking at this from a different perspective, and his attorney who got thrown under the bus. This could just be signifying the attorney. It's just like, hey, I'm just doing my job here. Yeah, the judge is giving him a hard time. In fact, there was another great quote from that judge. Oh,
now we know your password because you had it on there.
Exactly. He said, I have difficulty understanding how a member of the bar could state unequivocally that this is a constitutional order. And the Department of Justice attorney said, oh, I assure you, Judge, it absolutely is. And the arguments the Trump administration is making now have never previously been litigated, and that there was no reason to issue a 14-day temporary restraining order when it would expire before the executive order takes place. It's just, another way of looking at it.
God, the judge must have rolled his eyes so hard that we heard it down here.
Oh yeah, you could hear him knocking on the eye stoppers, right? The outcome is the judge is trying to prevent those in power from putting people out in the cold.
Fighting for the marginalized people.
Yeah, exactly. Or the people who are currently being punched down or kicked down at.
Yeah, the only thing I would maybe add that with the Hangman is that this is just going to be one of those cases that it's an easy win, but it's kind of hard to fight everything that they're doing. I sometimes have to pick your battles because resources are finite.
Yeah, there was someone had mentioned in the comments that there was actually a very interesting perspective or interesting thought where they were concerned that part of this whole Project 2025 and Trump's thing is to get stuff into the courts and get it litigated up to the Supreme Court, so the Supreme Court could put decisions in place that so you could avoid amending the Constitution. You just put an order in place clarifying what this is.
Yeah.
So that it's a different
little
way.
nudging things over. You don't need to go from left to right. You just need to push it a third of the way to the right, and
exactly.
A little nudge here, a little nudge there. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I see it. I can see that.
I thought that was very interesting perspective, and something that will be in the back of my mind, because this is a case in point of that. Because this is a case that can definitely go all the way up.
Right, and then they can try and make other exceptions to birthright citizenship.
Yep.
We're just going to rule on this one little fragment, and now this group of people can't come over or can't do this.
And you've got 6 justices on the Supreme Court that can easily bend their logic that way. Although I heard Amy Coney, is it Coney Barrett?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. She tends to be a little more defensive of the Constitution, so she's not as much of a wild card as some of the others. But you've got enough players on that Supreme Court to get what you want if that's what you want to make change.
Mm-hmm.
Europe.
What about Europe?
Yeah.
They'll probably let people do that from Europe. It's the other countries they won't let it do.
Yeah, if you're blonde-haired and blue-eyed, it's okay.
Yeah. Did you hear that? I guess one of the things that they're looking at with birthright citizenship, and I forget if this was a TikTok or if this was Belle of the Ranch. Because I watched at least one video, if not two of hers. One of them was talking about how Trump wrote an executive order trying to define what a man and a woman was, starting from fertilization. And the definitions that they were using, scientifically, everybody starts off as a female, and then the differentiation happens a few weeks afterwards. But he's saying your gender is what you are at fertilization. The moment of fertilization is your gender, so everybody's a female, including Madam President.
My sister.
Exactly. The other one was they were, I guess maybe the federal prosecutor was trying to make some argument looking at one phrase, like it's like therein or something like that in the 14th Amendment. And it was described that it was something put in there to prevent like foreign diplomats from having children in the United States, like a Russian diplomat having a child in the United States, and then that child is a U.S. citizen to a Russian diplomat, something along those lines. So basically, they were trying to exclude diplomats from the 14th Amendment, which is what they're trying to do with immigrants. They're trying to use that same sort of logic. And the person who put up the video pointed out, well, that would mean that these immigrants would then have basically diplomatic immunity because the laws here don't apply to them. So good luck if they do get this through. Good luck arresting these folks because you can't. They have diplomatic immunity, and it's another illustration of Keystone Cops. Trump has surrounded himself with a bunch of yes men and sycophants, but they're not really that smart. They're smart enough to get things going, but they're not smart enough to understand the consequences of what they're doing. And people smarter than you or me, and definitely smarter than them, can come up with these scenarios that's like, okay, you can approve this, but then you can't arrest them. You can't enforce it because they have immunity. Congratulations. That's a great flex. And I'm hoping, as we laugh at this, I'm hoping it provides some measure of calmness or some measure of comfort that as much, as they're talking so much about the horrible things they want to do, they don't really have the tools to do them. And it's like, again, they're Keystone Cops. They can kind of try and get stuff done, but just because they get what they want doesn't mean it gets them what they think they're going to get. Kind of like, I did a thing on Mike Johnson. They forced Mike Johnson through there so there wouldn't be a delay in counting the ballots. Great. Now you got Mike Johnson as your Speaker of the House, and he's horrible at that job. Just when, you got a budget coming through and you've got one of the weakest, wimpiest of at least trustworthy of the House speakers to try and get like a bonus, like a +3 House to approve a budget when they're all squabbling with each other.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. I don't know what to read on. I don't know what else you want to read on.
How about just look at the future? Will this get derailed?
Where's the great Karnak?
Yes. This boomba.
Best one ever.
Yeah, if you're a fan of Johnny Carson and you don't know the great Karnak and the Sis Boom Ba.
Yeah, just look up Johnny Carson Sis Boom Ba. It is hilarious.
Yeah, look it up on YouTube. Sis Boom Ba, Johnny Carson.
It takes him about a minute to get the joke out because he's dying because he knows how this one's gonna work.
Oh yeah, if you can watch the whole clip is about 7 or 8 minutes, but this one joke takes about 3 or 4 minutes
to get out. Between
him trying to say the joke, him saying the joke, and everyone trying to recompose themselves from the joke.
And if I remember correctly, he's the only one who actually knew what the joke was. They didn't share that with anybody else.
He just told Ed McMahon, "There's a real good one in here," and so McMahon didn't know what it was, but he knew when it came up because
Johnny couldn't keep it together.
Yeah, he couldn't keep it together. So they were kind of milking. McMahon saying, he was kind of milking it a little bit, having trouble divining this one. It was really, really fun.
Right, just look in general at the overall success of Trump's worst policies as they get challenged in court. How is that going to pan out?
Make it big.
Nobody wants to see this. All right, what do we got? The star card.
Yay!
Cross with the chariot, and he's just going to keep trying. He's going to try and undermine the Constitution and everything that makes America great. He might make some progress, but any progress he makes is slow progress. And
as it should be when you're adjusting trying to change the Constitution.
Yeah, exactly. Just people are finding out who he is, and you're finding out about all the awful things that they want to do. Notice the 4 major arcana all the way over here. Can there be changes? Yeah, there can be changes, but remember, these are going to be slow fights, and Trump's only in there for a short time. If it's not resolved in 4 years, and the Democrats get in again, they just pull the cases, and it's done. 5th one, the Tower card. Most of them aren't going to get through because they're built on a house of cards. They're just not logical. But he's going to keep going. They will keep trying and try. They will never stop trying to get this thing through. They're not going to have much success at all because they just don't know what they're doing. And justice is going to prevail. Look at all those. Only 2 minor arcana in that whole throw. Yeah. No, they really aren't going to make any progress. He'll have his executive orders, and the ones that can't be challenged in court will go through. He's pulled us out of the Paris Climate Accords. He's pulled us out of the World Health Organization. He can do crap like that. The one that we have to be concerned about is NATO and the UN type of thing. Yeah. That's the one that that concerns me more than anything else. But what's he going to do? Pull us out of NAFTA 2.0 and try and renegotiate it? Because if he does, he clearly didn't do a good job the first time. If he has to renegotiate it again,
art of the deal, baby.
The dude's a clown, and he's running a clown show. The White House is a circus, and it's awful to hear. It's awful to see them put it out there and have these the politicians and then the trolls all supporting it and trying to eat at your sense of decency. But know that they're not going to make a lot of progress. They'll make some progress, but it's nothing like we fear they're going to make. There's just the court systems will just grind this stuff to a halt.
Yeah,
it's the sand in the gears.
How well you can grind a case to a standstill.
Yeah.
So now it's time to use that tool against him.
And there's no urgency for the Supreme Court to take these cases up. It's not like ending birthright citizenship is a hot topic that needs to be decided immediately. There's no reason for any of the courts to move this thing along with any degree of speed. There's no issue at hand. Right. It would be different if it was like, I don't know, trying to decide if a president was fakely elected or not, and there was shenanigans going on, or even with Al Gore and George W. Bush and the hanging chads. They can move quickly if they need to, but there's no urgency with this.
Yeah.
All right, I'm done. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting our channel. I appreciate it.
If you like it, give us a thumbs up, subscribe. We put out a new video every day at midnight Pacific time. Leave a comment. I read them all, respond to many, and we give you something no other Twin Tarot channel gives you.
Snarky humor about the current president of the United States?
No, all Twin Tarot channels give you that. We give you the secret card. And today's secret card is the 6 of Wands. Victory.
Or is that pick me?
What's that?
Or is that a pick me girl?
That could be.
Since we're all women now.
Now it's 6 of Wands. Victory. Don't worry. This particular case is not going anywhere.
Nor should it.
For entertainment purposes only.
Exactly. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll catch you on the next video. Take care.